Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing another build with me. I haven't done one of those in a while. So we're going to do that, and essentially I'm going to be taking this container and turning it into this. So essentially what this build with me is that I am going to break it down by each components. So it helps you guys understand how much cost would be as if you did a DIY yourself. So we would have the basic acrylic enclosure, and then all the parts and pieces. I'll have the cost, and then also in the description I will have lists to some Amazon links to my Etsy as well for different 3D components, and a few other things down on in the description, so that way if you guys want to go and buy things yourselves, you have that ability to, and you know what I'm grabbing from. So I also want to thank everyone for supporting this channel. We have officially hit 1,000 subscribers. Actually, we're just over it, which blows my mind. You guys are amazing. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for getting me over the 1,000K mark. It's so cool. So with that, I want to celebrate, but in the video, you will find a code hidden in text. Use that code over on my Etsy page and you will get 20% off your entire order. Just as a nice thank you. I don't throw out big coupons usually like that. So it's definitely, fun little treat. Also, I just opened up a fourth wall. So this has merch with our new logo, which you can see here. And we have shirts, totes, and this is ways for you guys to get some merch with our things on there, and it helps support us as well. So again, I appreciate everyone and their support of this channel, of my Etsy shop, and all the things that we do. You guys are amazing. I love talking to you all. So yeah, let's get into the build. So here I have a 4x4x8 acrylic enclosure box. This is an hammock, and I pre-drill the holes that you see here for cross ventilation. This is important to get in the top, middle, and the bottom. These I do wholesale, and they're usually about $8 a piece, but usually from the hammock websites you have to order them in bulk, so like 25, I think 25 a pack. And then this is reptile safe sheet moss that I get also in bulk in rolls. I do sell this on my Etsy starting at about $5 a 4x4 sheet, so I already have it pre-cut and ready for you to put in an enclosure. Now what I really love about this sheet moss is that it is really forgiving, so you can cut it to size, and then I just hot glue it on the bottom of my enclosure. You can also put it on the walls. You can also do it in pieces. Like it blends in together really well, so you don't have to worry about it being perfect. And if you can see seams, hot glue some more loose moss over it, and it helps seal it up. So here I'm just sliding this into the bottom of the enclosure. I probably should have cut this a little bit shorter just because I was goofing up on the sides of it, but it's not that big of a deal. Now, I did get some glue on the sides of the enclosure that I was not intending on doing. So we're all not perfect when we are decorating our enclosures. So it's just me picking off some of the hot glue. Once I let it dry, like I try to, if I notice it, I let it sit for a second. Then I wait for it to cool down. Then I'm able to pick off most of it. A tip for you guys is if this happens, don't stress about it. Use this as an area that you can cover up with other decor, so whether it be foliage, web ribbon, or something, but you can cover that up so that way it's not noticeable and you don't have to just assume that you just completely messed up the enclosure. So here I have my 3D printed bookshelves, and it also has all the decor. So this is available on my website for $10. It is magnetic on the back, so it can secure to the side of the enclosure. You don't have to glue it to the side. All of our magnets are embedded into our prints as well. And then I have 3D printed books. I think these are so fun. It's something that I decided to do when I made the bookshelves and wanted to be able to have books on there, but anything that I found for miniature books were paper, and I didn't want to spend the time sealing it with Duraclear or anything like that. So I modeled it up super simple and 3D printed it. So they are available on my website for $3 to $6 depending on the size of the pack that you're getting. I do have them available where they're the bigger bunch down there, and then you can also get smaller ones as well. Now, I really wanted to do all the different colors. The theme I was going with this was a rainbow theme, feeling that it was very on point for being June, that this was Pride Month, so I want all the colors. So I have my pinks and blues, got some purples and greens. These are all available colors that I do have on my website, but this made it so much more fun. I love it. So I just hot glued bits and pieces to the bookshelf. You can do some where they're standing upright, but then also change up the layout a little bit more. Put some where they're sitting down, like if you just kind of like casually put books sitting down on a shelf, you're maybe not putting them back properly, so have them sitting down on the bottoms instead. Having them upright gives it some variety, doesn't make it as uniform. So to give this more depth, I also love adding reptile safe moss to the bookshelves. So just hot glue some areas, place it down in there. Be careful when you're tapping it in there and not burn yourself. Also adding some little mushrooms just gives it a little bit more variety to your bookshelf. And again, making sure that you are getting reptile safe moss. So this is stuff that you would be getting from the store. I do get this in bags from a pet store, so bags of this are about $9. Just make sure you're getting it from a pet store, from a pet brand, just because if it's like a hobby store type moss, that is something that they have dyes that are harmful to the spider, and so when you mist your enclosure, the dyes will leach out of the moss and can harm your spider. So just make sure you're getting stuff from a pet store. And then we have the resin mushrooms. So these, you can get them on Amazon. I did get them at Temu, but this, I do know something that's not necessarily an option anymore. So I do have a link for them from an Amazon site that I found. And there's also the fake succulent. So this one's harder because I got this from a kit of a ton of other floral items. And so it's really typical is that you're going to end up getting stuff that will come in bigger sets, and you'll use bits and pieces from it, and it's the stuff that you'll end up saving for other enclosures. But it was something that I got off of Amazon, and I just used one of the little succulents to hot glue onto that bookshelf. So then I placed the bookshelf in there, sizing up everything, trying to figure out where I can start placing some decor. I got this plastic greenery that I just want to put in the corner, fills up the space a bit. This is something that I got over at, I believe it was Joann Fabrics, and they were going out of business, so I managed to nab some floral decor for pretty cheap. So it's one of those that you can keep an eye out for good deals. If you find stuff that'll work, save it. It's awesome to have on hand when you need it. So something to be cautious of is when you're hot gluing the plastic foliage in. I have found that this hot glue gun gets so hot to the point where some of the foliage does start to kind of like bend at the heat. So just be careful when you're hot gluing this stuff. It didn't really show it in this one, but I have had it happen in some other enclosures where it just started bending as the hot glue is touching it. So I just piece this into the corner, and I add a little bit more to the top, kind of giving it a little foresty vibe there. Absolutely love this hot glue gun. This is a precision hot glue gun, and I love this. It does get very hot, like I said, but I do like that it has the precision tip that you can use for it. I'll have that in the link down below. So that's something that I'm not really including in the cost is some of the tools that you'll need to have. So if you don't have a hot glue gun, just know that that's something that you have to factor in. Obviously, it's a one-time cost. And then hot glue, I usually use the Gorilla Glue brand, and that also costs money too, obviously. So then I have some more of the fake green floral stuff, and this is, I have gotten it again from floral bunches that I've gotten on Amazon. So it's hard to put a cost to this, but this is essentially what I found on Amazon. It is where I bought it from. And I've been using this bunch for quite some time. And if you think about it, you're buying it in a big bundle, and so there are a ton of little pieces that I just pick from. You'll probably use a few in each enclosure. And you can see that I'm picking through the bundle in the back there, and I've been picking through that for quite some time. And that's only one or two of the bundles put together, so it does come in handy to have all these little pieces you can pick from. So just hot glue the bottom and stick it where you want in the enclosure. I tend to try to make, layers of the greenery in different spots. You can even trim this to be shorter and place it next to each other. This gives it some more depth, some more areas for them to climb in. So while working on enclosures, I'm always trying to figure out the space around certain pieces, so I know that bookshelf's going to be in the back. So placing that back in there, that's where it's nice having it magnetic, because I can pull this in and out as I need to. But I wanted to add some of these river rocks into the enclosure. So just hot glue the bottom of these and place them inside. So I got these for $10. Again, you get a whole big pack of them that you can use up for a long while. Maybe just use a couple in each enclosure. Make sure it is hot glued really well, because you don't want this to be loose and end up rolling around the enclosure if you pick it up. So like I said before, still grabbing from that foliage bunch, and I'm just grabbing a smaller bit of one of the pieces. So that just adds a little bit more depth to where you are building up your little foresty area, little greenery. I do hope that you guys like these enclosure builds. I know I don't do them as often. I did them when I first started this channel. And then I wanted to do more care guides, but I think this is really fun to be able to show off how I put together these enclosures. So let me know if this is something that you do like. Got my whole bag of mushrooms. So the set that I have in my link has a ton of different sizes. So there's some big ones, there's medium size and little ones. So it's good to add different types of sizes in there to change it up a bit. But this always seems to be kind of a go-to decor piece that everyone seems to use. I love it. I can't deny it. It's cottagecore. I am a sucker for this. So I usually add it close to the rocks, over by the foliage. Again, it's just adding that different height elements that I think really kind of helps bring some depth to your enclosure. So with the floral bunch, something to note is that it also comes with these little pieces in there that I don't think most people would ever think about. Everyone sees the flowers, adds the flowers. I see the little pieces, and the little pieces are what makes your enclosure so much more detailed oriented. So I usually grab little bits and pieces of this and add it into where I have some of the greenery already at. I call my little sprigs of floral of greenery, but look at that, how it adds a different layer there, different height, something that just makes it pop a little bit more. So again, it's something that people would just not even think about in that bundle of flowers. And honestly, keep that in mind for other floral pieces that you see. If you go to, the different hobby stores and you see different flowers, don't just think of the big flowers or anything like that. Think of the different sizes and how they can incorporate into your enclosure. Now, I am using the bigger flowers in this as well. So try and get some more of the pops of color in there to go with the rainbow theme. And I'm going to just stick this in with the rest of the floral, nicely with having it hot glued on the bottom, and just kind of poke it in with the rest of the bunch. And I put enough of a glob on there that it will stick. Also, don't mind this ridiculously overkill tool, something that my husband had that I borrowed or stole, but it's mine now. So it's what I've been using for cutting and stuff, because half the time I can't find my scissors, so I grabbed that because it also works as a wire cutter. So I trimmed off the bottom so that way I can actually just push this right into the moss, so it looks like it's coming right out of that grassy area. I tend to like to do these in corners, adds a little bit of depth to the floor. I just really love seeing this all come together. Each little piece just adds a little bit more to it, so adding that pink in there gets more of that colors going. I'm going to add another one of the river rocks just to add another bit of layer to it. The nice thing with the bag that I have is it just has a variety of sizes. So hot glue the bottom, place it in there, whoop, and I dropped that. That back into the enclosure. Still hot, so able to place that down over by the other rock. And again, thankfully with that bookcase being magnetic, I'm able to pull that out and get that into where I want it to go. I have big hands, I don't have small ones, so getting into these enclosures is quite the process, so I do need space. Alright, so I got another flower that I'm going to add in there, gain some more of the variety of colors. Usually with most of my enclosures I tend to stick with like one color theme with maybe like a splash of like white or something like that, or black. This one was really going beyond what I normally do, and I'm here for it. I love it so much. I love all the different colors. This was a fun one to do. And again, we're grabbing a little bit more of that little sprig of greenery. Hot glue the bottom and place it into the enclosure, adding that depth of just a little pop of something. Usually if I can kind of piece it over by where a rock's at or by a flower, it just adds that little bit more detail with that little height variation, that size variation. Definitely makes a big difference. Now, truthfully, with this piece, I did not quite know where I was going with it. I was thinking adding it to certain areas, and I ended up going with this corner just because I wanted to fill it out a little bit more, trying to get it to stand up straight in that space too. So try to get it to where it's not overly cluttered, but you get all the spaces taken care of. So here's a fun one. So these are nail art butterflies. So like the little like decor pieces that I guess people put on their nails when they're doing their nails. I don't do it, but I think these are adorable. Come in a variety of different colors. Got them off of Amazon. And again, there's a whole bunch of butterflies that you can use for multiple different enclosures. It is the smallest, tiniest little detail, but I'm going to put it on the bookshelf on that little book right there. And again, I'm going to keep repeating it, and I apologize, but it's adding that different height, different size. It's adding such fine details to this. If you think about it, you got a small spider that's climbing around and all this. The small details are what matter. So I'm also going to add to that little book there too. Go with a different color, I think. Another thing I want to note too is that all the pieces so far that I'm adding in here have not been sealed. They have been basically used as I got them. Really I use sealing for porous materials, so that'd be like for wood type material. But the resin mushrooms don't really need it. These nail pieces have not needed it, as well as the butterflies. But look at how much just those two little pieces just added to the bookshelf. This is just so cool. It was definitely one of my favorite little miniatures that I managed to nab that I just love. So placing back in the bookshelf, I'm able to see if there's anything else that we really need to add to the enclosure. Do we think that this is pretty filled out? I think this looks pretty good. So now I'm going to add in my 3D printed rainbow bridge. So available over on my Etsy. This is magnetic. The magnets are embedded into the print. I mean, this just screams obviously rainbow, pride, everything, colors. I adore this piece so much. I'm really proud of how this came out. So add it to where it's magnetic on one side, get it on the other. It does come in different lengths too. So this is the 4x5 length. So this fits for a good 4x4 enclosure. You can get it in longer lengths for bigger enclosures. But look at how much that just adds to the depth. It fills up that middle space a bit more. So that way, you know, kind of get into the middle enclosure, the spider can climb around that. Alright, so now we got the top part. So you do want to make sure you have stuff for the top of the enclosure. This is where your spider is going to hang out. So we are going to add in 3D printed rainbow hide, because rainbows, really strong magnets on our prints, and they are embedded in there so you can't even see it on the one print. We're starting to print them where you really can't see them too much. We've changed up our printing process a bit more. So I wasn't quite sure if it's just adding in the hide or if I want to add more. I really think I need to add in more. So I'm going to add in our 3D printed cloud ledge. So $7 for that over on our Etsy shop. Again, the magnets are embedded in the prints. So you can add that in there close to the top where they can utilize that. So adding that in there definitely helps add a little bit more, but I still think there needs to be a little bit more to it. So I am grabbing some more of that fake foliage, the green foliage, and I am going to put that up by the top. So one thing is, like, it doesn't have to be literal, like clearly this is greenery that's coming out of the sky, but it really tends to make a difference for your jumper to give them more areas to climb in at the top. So I have found a lot of my spiders really like when I add foliage or flowers up to the top. Some of them will make their hammocks in there, you know, not using the hide like I intend them to. I often have people ask, oh, do they use the hides? I'm like, it's probably like a 50-50 chance. It really depends on where they're comfortable. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they'll actually go inside the hide, sometimes they'll go outside of it, or sometimes they will completely avoid it and go on a space that you just did not intend them to actually utilize. So like the foliage. And I'm hot gluing this on the bottom on one of the leaves just to keep this tight to the corner. So again, using that precision hot glue gun really helps to get into tight areas. If this was in the enclosure I need to do it, that really would have been a pain to do. But that kept that tight to the corner, adds a little bit more to that top part, and just really kind of gives it just more full looking up at the top, I guess. Now I don't think one was enough, so grabbing a second one, I'm going to trim it down just to give it the height difference that it needs. And we're just going to hot glue this back up there. I'm going to add it right next to the other one just to give it a little bit more depth, more climbing space for the spider. Again, they're going to be up there a lot, so most likely they're going to utilize this. Now the cool thing is too that these naturally, some of them do bend and curve, so usually I don't mind it too much, but this one I did want to try to keep it tight to the top, to the corner, to the side. So hot gluing at least one leaf just down, kind of still keeping the curve a little bit, but hot gluing it down so it stays tight to where I want it. And there we have it. I am quite happy with how this enclosure turned out. Love all the colors and all the different components. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. And if this is something that you like and you don't want to build yourself, it is available over on my Etsy. And remember that I do have a code that was hidden in text in here for 20% off. Feel free to use it over on my Etsy. This is my huge thank you for those that are supporting me and getting us over the 1000K mark. You guys are amazing. And let me know if this is a type of video that you'd like to see me do more often. I'll keep doing my care guides, but if you want to see more build with me's, I will keep doing them for you guys. So, alright, have a good one.